everybody, it's Karen. Thanks so much for joining me again. I've got a Christmas card for you in June, almost July, um, but it features this new PaperCuts edger die from Creative Expressions, which is just lovely. And I've got that Northern Lights sky that I wanted to share with you as to how I made that. So my card is an A2 size card, and this is just a card front I'm working on. And as you can see, I'm just slapping down that Distress Oxide ink. You don't have to be very careful with your ink blending. It's mostly covered up. But I am using picked raspberry, twisted citron. I use squeezed lemonade, but I don't know that you need it. I kind of put it in between the colors, as you can see here. I don't think it shows in the end. And this last one is Mermaid Lagoon. Now, I did put these down in this order. After I had done this, I sort of felt like I wished I had made it not so stripy, that I had sort of added colors in different areas on that. So that's something for you to keep in mind. But now I'm using chipped sapphire with a domed foam blender. And you want to start at the edge and do that sort of flicking motion. You're sort of pulling that color down to the middle. It's a lot like a Copic marker flick that you're sort of trying to get. After I had done this, I was wishing I had put the foam more on an angle. I think I was going on it a little too straight, and I didn't entirely like the end result. And so I felt like there was room for improvement. So I'm just putting that out there for you guys. So if you held it more on an angle, you can see I'm kind of straight there, but after a bit, I did do a few strokes where I had it more on the edge, and I thought that worked a lot better. So that's just my tip for you guys if you want to give this a try. So I am just pulling that chipped sapphire in over and over towards the middle, kind of getting that streaky look, which helps with that Northern Lights effect. And it just took a bit of work to keep pulling that down and over. The edges I sort of just went over and got them fairly dark. So I'm kind of looking at it here and thinking, no, it still needs a bit more, it needs more. So I just kept going and pulling it in. Now you can go back in afterwards. If you put too much on, just go back in with the colors of oxide inks that you want and do exactly the same thing in starting from the middle and sort of flicking it up and out. And here I did end up putting a bit of pink in other areas. I don't know that you can see it so well, but I do wish when I first put it down I had spread the pink out a little bit more and the green a bit in different areas on it. So now there I think I went in more at an angle, and I like that better. So when I had it all done, I used this, it's from Cosmic Shimmer. It's a Pearlescent glimmering gold airless mister. And you have to shake that up, but I didn't want to just spray it on. I wanted splatter, and I wasn't sure I would get that with the way I was going to pump it, so I just used a paintbrush and splattered all over, just to get a bit of a starry look. Now, this is the die. It's absolutely gorgeous. I cut two of them, as you can see. And it cuts the sentiment, the little image, and because it is an edger die, you can choose how much of that snow you want showing. So when I cut my two, I just made sure the pieces of cardstock I was cutting from were the same size, so I got them cut in the same place. You can see I'm going to use this Cosmic Shimmer Detail Bright Gold embossing powder. I just want that on the sentiment and on the car, so I'm using my anti-static powder tool here, and I'm going to use some Versamark ink. I have Copic colored that tree in. Now this looks really bad, I know, but I am being careful. I promise I'm being fairly careful with this. It just looks bad on the video, but I'm just sort of using an ink blending tool to go over the bulk of that, the sentiment and the car. This looks really bad, but it doesn't go everywhere, I promise. And then to get into the smaller parts, I used the Versamarker pen and just went over along the edges of the car, the tires, and the words. So it worked out in the end, okay? It just looks bad. And then this Cosmic Shimmer embossing powder, I'm so impressed with these actually. They are really nice embossing powders. You can see I went from the back first and then over the front. I did do 2 layers of this. I don't show the second layer, but I did do a second one just the same as the first. And once I had that ready, I just used some glue to go over all this. If you wanted, you could use some die cut and bond or stick it, which would make it easier to put this together, I think. But the glue worked fine, and I just set it under some blocks to set. Now, this is some Cosmic Shimmer glitter jewels in iced snow, and it is gorgeous. I have some other glitter that it's from a big company, and I never use it. It's just got horrible colors in it, but this is just a beautiful white, sparkles, lots and lots of sparkle. Super easy to use. And so I just sprinkled that onto the glued surface. I'm patting it on, pressing a little bit just to make sure it sets. I did put a piece of paper over this and then set it under some blocks to dry. I'm wiping off those edges there just to get a clean edge. But once it dried, it was just lovely. It has so much sparkle. So I'm showing you here, I decided to trim off that top piece because when I put the die cut on, I felt like you couldn't see the northern lights very well. But if I moved that up, it just looked better to me. So I taped that on with my tape gun. And then all that's left is I just glued the bottom piece on again. But again, if you use the die cut and bond or stick it, that would make your life a lot easier. But it wasn't too hard, I promise. And then that extra little tree that fits into that inset piece on the left there, I actually cut 2 more of those. So it's 4 layers thick, this one. And that just helps make it stand out from the bottom a little bit more, and it gives it a bit of dimension there. So there you have it. That's that card. Super quick, super easy, but just a nice Christmas card, I thought. Lots of sparkle and shine with the embossing powder and that snow and the glitter or the pearlescent shimmer mist on the sky. And I have also done another one which was slightly different. So it's more of a daytime sky, again with Distress Oxide inks. And I've used the Let It Snow stamp set from Woodware. It's a Jane Gill stamp set. And I've used some Aurora Crystal embossing powder on those and white embossing powder. So there you have it, guys. I hope you'll give it a try, and I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for stopping by.